I'm gonna win if I don't throw this. Let's be honest here. I'm a badass. Like, I'm the ultimate marksman. I'm Kazami Yuuji, occupation soldier / prodigy. What do you want from me? A long time ago, there was apparently a saying in the military that dopes make the best snipers. For some reason, soldiers who were generally sluggish, absent-minded, or otherwise dopey supposedly made for a reliable, superior marksman, you know? I guess Makina's a bit derpy. Although I'm not conscious of it myself, people have been criticizing me for looking sleepy or zoning out ever since I was a kid. Yeah, we're kind of dopey too. Couldn't say why, but maybe there really is some kind of connection there.
勝負の方法は簡単だ。200ヤード先にあるホールトマトの空き缶が見えるだろ。あれを見事に打ち抜けたらあんたの勝ちだ。掃除当番を代わってやるよ。
You fucking serious? Ha! This is in the bag. Not cleaning. Laundry.
どっちだって似たようなもんだろ。どうせ当たりっこねえし。
you underestimate my power. Well, probably not in one shot at least. I was holding a small bore rifle that we'd taken from the rack in our quarters without permission. We're gonna get beaten up for this, aren't we? My ammunition was a handful of .22 LR rounds we'd forgotten to count during normal daily training. Normally speaking, you want to be firing a small bore rifle at 25 to 50 meters. And while the bullets themselves can travel a good 1,600 meters, their effective range normally maxes out at less than 100. Oh my god, I almost said 10. She was telling me to use this for a field shot at a range of 200 yards. A good 182 meters. On top of which, we'd snuck out here after lessons finished, so the current time was 6 p.m. Twilight's terrible for long-range vision. All in all, this felt like a pretty disadvantageous wager. It's fine. We're awesome. Not sure if anyone could land this shot under these conditions.
私の親父がその昔現役の頃当てたと言ってる。
Oh, but old man. That's impressive. Was your dad in the Marines too?
あんた嘘だと思ってんだろ。
No, I'm sure it's possible under the right conditions. But this is definitely going to be hard. Did you actually manage this, Millie? Milliela?
いや、私には無理だった。だからこそあんたが当てることができれば私の負けってわけだよ。
This is bullshit. You didn't even do it. I see.
正直な話、私は親父の話を信用してない。現役時代にもらった勲章を眺めながら一杯やるときに、親父が決まって口にするよ手話だと思ってる。
He's just like, let me tell you about the time I hit this fucking thing 200 meters away with the shitty rifle.
そもそも周りの連中はみんな口を揃えて、お前の親父は嘘つきだって言うしな。誰も信用なんかしちゃいない。それでも。
Holding on to that little bit of faith that he was actually telling the truth. You still want to believe it, huh?
別にそういうわけじゃねえし。ただ酔うたびに何度も聞かされた話だし、もしかしたらって。
I mean, if he was lying, you'd think at some point he would start, like, getting the story wrong, but sounds like he was doing the same story over and over and over.
少しは親父を信じてた昔の自分を裏切りたくないって、それだけの話だよ。
There he goes.
いいからさっさと始めろよ。時間が経てば経つほど条件は悪くなるぞ。
Yeah, you're right. Okay, let's just... Oh, God. Here we go. How many tries do I get? I thought I get one.
弾は6発しかない。
Okay, so 6 tries. Good. Give me 3 chances then. We'll call it my loss if I can't hit it by the 3rd shot.
そういや、あんたが負けた時のペナルティを考えてなかったな。
Excellent. Works for me. Alright, if I lose, how about how about I let you give me a blow hoozlin'? You already know.
薬をやっているのか？なんでそうなるんだよ。
Well, you see, I was phrased real fucked up, but it's fine. Wait, we're going with that? Okay. Well, you started things off by offering me your body, didn't you? I was just returning the favor.
あのさ、男と女じゃ体をかけることの意味違ってこないか？
Oh, what? I'm not good enough for you? No problem. I'm sure my buddy Danny would.
だからさ、なんでお前はチップ基準で物を考えるんだよ。
Comes with being in the Marines, I guess. Oh, I probably missed.
いきなり撃つなよ。
Or I was a badass and actually hit. I've been in firing position for a good while now, you know? You see?
だからってあんたずっとぐちゃぐちゃ喋ってたじゃないか。喋りながらいきなり撃つとか思わねえじゃんか。
Missed, huh? Shit.
当たり前だろ。な、適当に撃って当たるなら誰も苦労なんかしねえっつうの。
Half-assed, I'll have you know that... Okay, here we go. I think I got a real feel for it now, though. Should be able to land the next one. Watch carefully, alright?
だからさ、そう簡単に当たるわけがねえだろって。風も出てきたし、日を変えてまた挑戦するか？
Shh. I'm feeling my rifle like it's connected to me. Millie,
なんだよ。
can you see what color the wind is today?
は？色？意味わかんねえ。何言ってんだ？
Yuuji, I'm firing.
うん。
Got it. The lightweight bullet burst out of the rifle's barrel, following the exact trajectory I had mentally pictured a moment before. Then rode the wind toward the empty can at the end of the range, curving into it as if drawn by a magnet. God, I'm awesome. You heard that little can? Well, would you look at that? This gun's not so bad once you get used to it.
おい、嘘だろ？まだ2発目だぞ。
Want to see me hit it again? I said 3 would be enough, didn't I?
マジかよ。あんたどんな手品使ったんだよ。
No tricks involved. I'm just that good, Millie. Understand now?
おい、ジーニー。あんたの名前のジーニーってのはジーニアスのことだったのか？
No, it's not. Also, the word genius really ruffles my jimmies, if you know what I mean. Yeah, I'm a genius. I keep telling people that. And then I work my ass off so I don't look like a delusional idiot. And you just saw the results of that. This world's one big garbage heap, and the only thing you can rely on is yourself. I believe in my talent and my hard work, and that gets me results. But in your case, maybe it wouldn't hurt to try believing in your old man's drunken stories.
何ちょっとかっこいいこと言ってんだよ。やめろよ。折れちまうだろ。
I just have that effect. Anyway, I guess you get to wash my underwear for me now. Make sure to do a real good job on laundry duty next week, alright?
洗うよ。どうする？ついでにこのまま便所でセックスする？
I'm not really sure what we're supposed to be at, but maybe next time.
今度っていつだ？明日か？
I don't know. Quit tugging my sleeve, will ya? We need to get back before they find out where he took the rifle. And so, I've made another woman fall for me. It just comes with the territory of being occupation soldier. Protege. God, I miss saying occupation student. We gonna get back to those days at some point? Predictably enough, Captain Garrett discovered our unauthorized appropriation of a rifle that very night. Yeah, because she finds out everything. And Millie and I were ordered to scrub the latrines until convinced that shit smelled like daisies. I've returned! I'm occupation student! Well, I guess that more or less covers the first term. After that came 2 months in Quantico, Virginia, then the final exam, and my posting to an actual platoon in the field. A lot of stuff still classified, so I was unsure how much detail to provide on paper.
資料とミッションログはこちらに残っているから、概要だけわかればいいのよ。配置先はアフガニスタンとホンジュラス？
Scary places, especially for the times. Yeah, both times we were reinforcements dropped into losing battles. First a desert, then a jungle. Not exactly my fondest memories, that's for sure. Oh no, don't take me there. No! You took me there!
Yo, ショーティーどうした元気かまた同じ船だなよろしく頼むぜ相棒
I like Danny, but... For some reason, I'm already feeling completely exhausted. During the second term, I was once again assigned to the same training company as Danny. By now, I wasn't exactly surprised. It seemed like somebody had made a deliberate decision to keep us together.
へへいよいよ後期だな相棒これで俺らも晴れて一等兵様だぜおいショーティーお前前期の給料いくらもらった何に使うよ
I'd like to know the exact amount right now. At the end of our first 6-month period of training, the salary we'd earned was paid out all at once, minus anything we'd used with our rubber stamp at the post exchange. If you hadn't bought anything, that would come to like $5,000. On average, you'd get around 4,000, about 300,000 yen at that time.
俺はその金を頭金にして車を買ったぜせっかく軍で免許を取らせてくれたんだしな今度はちゃんとてめえで稼いだ金で買った車だ誰にも文句は言わせねえ
Oh, is it the car that I get later down the line? Aw, jeez. That's nice, but when are you going to have the time to drive it? And you're supposed to apply for permission beforehand. Might get ugly if they find out later. We were only grunts, but now that Danny had an insignia on his uniform, he was a representative of the United States. It would cause headaches if he got into accidents with civilians or broke traffic laws abroad. Because of this, the military wasn't too pleased when people on active duty bought cars, and they generally required a good deal of paperwork beforehand. But from what Osco told me, it was a lot of paperwork for no real benefit, so you were better off spending your time looking for an expensive insurance policy. Most people didn't even bother applying. I guess the high-ranking officers who let their underlings chauffeur them everywhere aren't too familiar with the circumstances in that area.
バレなきゃいいんだろそんなもんでお前は何を買ったんだ
I bought a woman's watch, actually.
例の師匠にプレゼントか
No, someone else.
マジかよお前は本当に周りに女が多いやつだな
Do I?
すっとぼけんなよお前ミリーともやったんだろ
No, I didn't.
噂じゃギャレット大尉とも寝たって聞いてるぜ
Okay, listen. Okay, hold on. As the words left his mouth, Danny looked cautiously around the room, glancing behind him twice. He's learned. Well, he didn't learn. He said that before actually looking, but...
お前さよくあんなゴリラ女と寝たな普通に考えりゃちょっとありえねえだろマジ飼育員になれるぜ
Is that, in fact, I wonder if that's a scene for Professor Dave's masturbation station. Where'd you hear that? What a load of crap.
やってねえのかよ
Well, I'm not saying nothing happened, but...
お前さミリーとチューしてるとこよその班の連中に見られてんだぞ
That was just Millie throwing herself at me. Wait, I guess that's kind of a cowardly way to put it.
おいおい下手な言い訳はやめろよ別に責めてるわけじゃねえしケロっちまえよショーティやったんだろ
I feel like... well, Millie was sort of stalking me there for a while, and I guess there were a few incidents like that. I did tell her I'm in love with another woman, so I couldn't go out with her. 4 times, actually. But maybe I should have tried rejecting her rather really harshly or something.
4回って、そんだけ振られてなんで諦めねえんだろうな。あいつはバカなのか?
She's a persistent one. She does call herself one, so yeah, I guess she probably is.
また面倒な女に惚れられたもんだな。まあ、後期で配置が変われば、あいつもすぐに忘れんだろ。バカだからよ。
I don't think that's gonna be the case.
誰がバカだ、こら
And she's also here. Dan, you really gotta look around before talking that shit, you know?
だ、メリー、てめえ、なんでいるんだ?
Look at his fucking smile.
私もあんたらと同じ船なんだよ。悪かったな。つか、何てめえ、バカの分際で私のことバカとか言ってんじゃねえよ。蹴り殺すぞ、このコーヒー豆野郎。
Coffee bean.
ああ、今てめえなんつったこのクソアマ。俺様のデカ丸ではめ殺すぞ。
Then Yuuji's like, no, don't joke about that. I almost did that to someone. It was a terrifying experience for him.
誰がやらすかボケ。つか、私に手を出したらジーニーが黙ってないぞ。畜生、よくも俺の女に手を出したなっつって。
Very bad impression of me.
あんたなんか700メートル後方からバーンだ。バーン、脳みそまき散らして吹き飛べ。
Show her my skills and she's in love. Oh man.
寝言は寝て言えボケ。おめえショーティーの女じゃねえだろ。どさくさに紛れてうぜえこと言ってんじゃねえよ、クソビッチが。
Okay, you two. You need to settle down.
あんたこそどさくさに紛れておっぱい触ってんじゃねえよ。金取るぞ、こら。
誰がてめえの惨めな貧乳なんぞ触るか、バカ。
She's got guts too. Like, I imagine he towers over her. Just in the sprite alone, it looks like he just towers, and she is right up in his fucking face.
ガキかよ。つか、唾飛ばすんじゃねえよ。くせんだよ、バカ。
Hey, you can't help spitting sometimes. I do all the time while recording. Okay, I think I'll get going now. You two have fun.
いやー、ジーニー、置いてかないで。久しぶりに会ったんだよ。2週間ぶりなんだよ。10ぐらいしてけよ、もう。
Maybe later, Millie. God, I'm getting out of here.
ざまた振られてやんのよ。めっちゃダッセー。甘ったれた声出してんじゃねえよ、気色悪い。
We're a bunch of colorful characters here.
てめえ、このダニ野郎、蹴り殺すぞ。
We're gonna get a Danny Millie fight, like just oh, poor Danny. He just gets his ass beat all the time. Although we'd entered the final half of our training. Oh my god, that was a burp. It's that acid reflux. It wasn't that different from the first term until we were actually deployed into the field. In fact, things were more relaxed on the whole. In terms of the major changes, our lodgings were now a 33,000-ton battleship rather than a barracks building, and we were given additional nighttime training. Practically speaking, the single biggest difference was probably the fact that we were allowed to apply for shore leave. But now that we were seniors, some of us were also given the chance to act as assistant instructors. Unlike normal volunteer soldiers, we were the disposable products of an abbreviated intense training program, often called rapid training or intensive. And while we were only PFCs at the moment, those of us who'd produced excellent results during the first term were sometimes assigned to provide guidance for more typical recruits. Our second term was going to involve a deployment into the field, but it would be some time before the details were decided. That said, they didn't want us to leave us sitting around idly. Feeding us and having us run circles all day would keep us healthy enough, but that just meant we'd have more energy for mischief on the shore. Having us train other recruits would remind us that the military was one big machine, and we were only gears inside it. Yeah, we're just cogs in the machine, while also encouraging us to develop a better understanding of the word responsibility. That would probably be their logic, at least. Hello. And anywho, since I'd carelessly taken top place in, in marksmanship at the end of term examinations, I was promptly handed a slip of paper and shipped right back to San Diego. Frankly, it was a pretty massive pain in the ass. The problem was simple enough. I was a short-term worker, and the people I was instructing were full-time employees. In terms of rank, we were all PFCs, but they were generally older than me and had been in service for longer. Yeah, but they're not as badass as me. Given my disadvantage in both age and experience, I felt like a pimple-faced part-timer trying to teach salaried university graduates how to work a cash register. That's literally what it sounds like. Honestly, I never had any idea how to approach the lessons I was supposed to be giving. Alright, I'm gonna teach you how to be a badass. First things first, this was the sort of thing that could cause you a lot of problems. Not just in training, but in the field as well. After all, we were dealing with full-fledged employees. There was a chance some of them would shoot up the ranks and end up giving us orders. Didn't really want to give them any reason to hold a grudge. Naturally enough, us part-time instructors tended to provide some fairly lukewarm instruction. No screaming involved, and much less corporal punishment. Our students saw right through us, and they generally treated us with barely disguised condescension. Condescension. However, even among the ranks of these arrogant employees, there were a handful of hopeless cases. These were the guys who just couldn't improve, struggling in their studies and training alike. As they fell further and further behind those around them, their confidence tended to fail and things would go from bad to worse. People like this usually just quit, but those who had nowhere else to go were downright pitiable. The instructors gave them hell in front of everyone. The other members of their squads punished them for slowing the group down. Oh, Lord. Oh, hey. The man I was instructing today, one Edward Walker, fell solidly into this category. He was the oversized second son of a farm family. Rumor had it he'd been tossed into the military, so he'd stopped eating them out of house and home. You'd never think he was a teenager from the sheer bulk of his body. Thanks to his size and overall sluggishness, his squad mates had given him the unflattering name Buffalo Eddie.
先輩教員殿、エドワード・ウォーカー一等兵、これより自由得点射撃を開始いたします。
I'm here to teach you what it means to be able to shoot. Yeah, sure, have at it.
Sir, yes, sir.
We were the exact same rank, so the guy really shouldn't have been calling me sir. A hot-tempered instructor probably would have assumed he was being sarcastic and given him an educational smack to the face. At a glance, Walker looked like a gentle-hearted country boy, the kind who doesn't have much going for him apart from his physical strength. That said, I had a bit of a soft spot for this particular buffalo of a man. He wasn't the talkative sort. In fact, he was downright taciturn. But from what I'd seen in his file, his father had died from an illness, and his mother had been struggling to manage the family farm on her own. The stress had recently caused her to fall into poor health. Eddie did have an older brother who apparently worked in banking, but the man was divorced and had significant child support obligations. Oh no. Oh god. So he couldn't provide much help. Accordingly, Walker had signed up for the Navy, hoping that his physical health would compensate for his stupidity. Not really that unusual a story. Normally I might have muttered, that's rough, and forgotten all about it by the time I finished picking my nose. However, Edward, almost I'd said Eddie, hey, I'm learning. Edward Walker was actually somewhat famous among the instructors. He was known for his remarkably terrible results, of course. But they also said he'd never used his rubber stamp at the post exchange after entering the Navy, not even once. Whatever he needed, he obtained by bartering away his supply of cigarettes. He hardly spent a dime of the salary provided to him by the military. He didn't leave the base on off days either. The man was apparently sending every cent of his military salary home to his mother. You know what? Now that's the sort of thing that really brings a tear to your eye, right? Good job, Eddie. That's the way. You gotta take care of your mother while she's still around, or you'll definitely regret it in the long run. Stop it. Don't make me feel bad. Oh, I couldn't do a thing for mine, and in the end, she died before my eyes. God damn it, Yuuji, stop it! Those regrets probably had something to do with it, but one way or the other, I couldn't help seeing Eddie Walker as a really good guy.
教員殿、3発の得点者を終了しました。確認をお願いいたします。
And it's not and he does sound like a good guy. Like, all right, let's see. I peered into my spotting scope, fixed on a tripod to point at the target downrange. I took a good long look at the target paper, but there weren't any bullet holes to be seen. I couldn't even see any signs he'd grazed it. No points. Looks like he didn't land any. As I murmured these words, Walker's huge shoulders visibly sagged.
やっぱりダメでありますか?
Aw, come on. I don't think there's any reason to get depressed about it. You're still in your first term, and experience is everything when it comes to guns. The more shots you take, the better you'll get.
そうも言っとれんのです。
What do you mean?
自分は学科もギリギリで合格した口で、先月の試験で落第点を取りました。これ以上落第をすれば、自分は田舎に返されます。
Sounds like we need montage. That's probably not true. As a general rule, militaries are easy to join but hard to leave. Once you're in, they're not going to fire you at the drop of a hat. That said, failure in training has a huge effect on your career prospects. Old classmates will move up quickly through the ranks, jumping NCO or even staff NCO. But if you failed early on, you'll usually languish lower on the totem pole. Eventually, you'll find yourself being outstriped by people who enlisted years later than you. There's few things more humiliating than working under an officer who you bossed around when they were still a fresh recruit.
自分は今日のこの補習で合格点を取らなければまた落第であります。
Okay, we gotta help him, Yuuji. I glanced down at Walker's report card. A number of red marks indicated failures in swimming, academics, and... Wait, you failed hand-to-hand combat as well?
自分は争い事などめったに起きない土地で牛と育った田舎者であります。兄もどちらかといえば勉強の虫で、自分は兄弟喧嘩もしたことがありません。
Okay. I just smashed my hand on my desk. I see. Before you get used to it, hitting people can sometimes be more painful than being hit. The man was just too kind. This might be a little rich coming from a coward who couldn't bring himself to kill, but it seemed like making Eddie Walker into a full-fledged Marine was gonna take quite a bit of time. I guess it would be pretty bad to pick up any more failing grades at this point, huh? Anyway, is it really giving you that much trouble? Maybe the gun's bad. Let me take a look.
あ、どうぞ。
Let me just look. The rifle I took from Eddie appeared to be a perfectly typical M40A1 of the sorts the new recruits were always given. It was visibly beaten up from years of heavy usage, but the barrel and few other parts had been replaced. Training rifles were usually total junk, relatively speaking. This one seemed solid enough. If he couldn't land a single shot using this thing, the problem was clearly on Eddie's end. Okay, Promptly pulling back the bolt handle, I pushed around into the rifle's chamber and assumed an upright firing position. I'm gonna try it out, alright? Got it. Got it. Got it. The gun itself wasn't half bad. No real quirks or peculiarities. You could tell it had been thoroughly trained by generations of riflemen. There weren't any unpleasant catches in the action. And the bullets flew into the target with satisfying accuracy. It was a genuinely refreshing feeling. Hey, looks like it's not so bad. Take a look in the scope, why don't you?
Oh, hi.
Curling up his huge body to look into the spotting scope, Eddie peered at the distant target paper. The 3 shots I'd fired off were scattered carelessly around the outer edge of the bullseye circle. Look, it's hard to tell people I'm a badass, but I am. Well, that's why they landed all over the place. If I'd gone prone and focused, they would have all ended up going dead center. Thank you. Someone appreciates me. I mean, a lot of people do, but not really. This is the only thing I'm any good at, you know? If I had any other skills, I'd be in a different line of work. Maybe running a coffee shop or something. That'd be kind of nice. I can make a mean coffee now. I was trained by Asuko. Guess it doesn't make that much sense to you, huh? Well, whatever. In any case, you take that target paper and bring it to your squad leader. Just right, I scored 0 points at 300 yards, so I tried again at 250. On your report card or sheet. I'll stamp it for you. Pretty sure they don't fail you outright for hitting a bullseye at 250. Look at me. I'm being a good guy. That's certainly a very admirable point of view, PFC Edward Walker. But tell me, have you ever heard this saying? In the military, it's all about knowing which corners to cut. And anyway, if your results don't improve, they're going to say I'm a lousy instructor with no leadership qualities, you know? So don't get me wrong, it's not like I'm taking pity on you here or anything. Well, go grab the damn thing and take it to your squad leader already. If they ask you why you suddenly managed to hit the target, just tell them you could see the wind or something. I'm sure you will, Eddie. I'm sure you will. Very well. Dismissed. All the results and training influence the assessment you receive at graduation. In the military, your report card can be a ticket to heaven or a ticket to hell. Accordingly, the relative performance of squads within a training company and individuals within a squad are constantly being compared on a competitive basis. Squad leaders and instructors are military men and women, but they're also human beings. They tend to get attached to students under their direct supervision. At times, that parental affection probably acts as a lubricant that keeps the gears of the military machine turning. Oh, don't even talk about lube in regards to, oh God, Jesus. I wasn't sure exactly what happened to Edward Walker after that. Maybe we'd be abruptly reunited in the field someday, with him as my superior officer. Smirking at the thought of calling in my debt with Sergeant Walker, I returned to my unit at Quantico in a relatively cheerful mood. Hello.
Oh, Shorty! Yay! Welcome back!
I've returned. Good to see you all haven't killed each other. With my stint as an instructor I come home to an enthusiastic welcome from the lovable punk known as Daniel Bone. Apparently Danny had found life tragically boring without me around. He'd spent most of his time getting into fights with Millie and engaging his superior officers. Or enraging. That's totally different. Well, I mean, engaging with, like, oh, you want to fight? They eventually confined him to the ship, but he snuck ashore anyway, then proceeded to tear around town in his new car, party with women, and get himself into a drunken bar fight. This incident ended with an officer having to rush over to the scene and apologize profusely to a number of local policemen. You'd think Danny would have learned his lesson, but he slipped off the boat again just a few days later. Then he spent a few hours driving around in a drunken stupor before getting caught by an MP who found him taking pot shots at a stop sign from the window of his car. Oh, guess that explains why they suddenly told me to come back from San Diego ASAP. Watashi wa number one.
俺って男は相方のショーティがいねえと悪さばっかりするってんで急いで呼び戻したってことらしいな。
I'm the one that keeps him in line.
笑ってんじゃないよ。バカだよね。もうほんと心底バカ。ほんまバカばっかりやってると請金証を取り上げられて出世が遅くなるよ。
Let's be real, Millie. You're both stupid.
あんた一人がバカやって激戦地に飛ばされるのは構わないけど、私のジーニーに迷惑かけんじゃねえよ、この黒豆野郎。
Yeah, don't make life harder for me. Well, no big deal. It's nothing I can't handle. Anyway, Millie, I'm back.
おかえり、あなた。
Jesus.
何があなただ。気安く女房気取りしてんじゃねえよ。
Oh no.
ショーティーは俺の相棒。つまり野球のバッテリーでいや、俺の女房だ。俺のショーティーに色目使ってんじゃねえぞ、ゲリグソ女。
Diarrhea face? Is that an insult that like is used normally?
だとやんのかこら。このアホボケカスいてまうぞこら。
And just like that, I'm gonna leave. Look, guys, I'm kind of tired. Think you're gonna have to excuse me.
いやジーニー相変わらず冷たいのね。でもそういうの好き。
It's what she loves about me.
このクソ豆野郎ぶっ飛ばしたらすぐに行くから。先にシャワー浴びて待っててね。
Jesus. I don't know if I should say yay or end me.
てめえどっから声出してんだよ、マジキメ。ウフじゃねえ。うわくそ、うわくそ、マジでイラつく。なんだこいつ。やっべ、早く殺さねえと海軍の恥だ。
Don't murder each other if I don't kill her ASAP.
んだと裏ボケ。
Well, you get your ass beat every time. There really was a chance we'd be shipped off to a hellhole. A very real chance, in fact. Don't tell me that. That was the whole point of putting a bunch of dropouts and petty criminals through intensive training, after all. They expected us to take bullets for the old Uncle Sam. In the not-too-distant future, we'd all be dropped into the middle of a battlefield for the practical experience portion of our second-term training. At the very least, that was what I'd expect to, or I'd begin to suspect. Oh no, I don't want to go anywhere that's dangerous. I just want to live. I say that a lot. I just want to live. That said, the following 2 weeks passed by peacefully enough. We were technically in the second half of our training period, but unless there was an operation of some sort taking place, everyone could freely invite their family to the ship on Sundays and holidays. A battleship is a national asset, paid for entirely with taxpayer funds. If the people want to take a look, it wouldn't do to completely refuse them. Except for classified areas, civilians were allowed to tour the ship. Excellent. On this particular day, Danny's family was apparently coming for a visit. He'd woken up early, spent hours cleaning our living quarters, and was now pacing anxiously around the place in his neat ceremonial uniform. Every time the launch carrying visitors and supplies pulled up to the gangway, he'd get all fidgety, checking his hat and jacket in the mirror over and over. I even saw him snap off a few smart salutes to nobody in particular. When I asked him who was coming, he said it was his mother and his younger sister. Danny had led a fairly wild and reckless life. The police had picked him up quite a few times, and he'd ended up in the courthouse more than once. It's pretty obvious how badly he wanted to show his family that he'd come up in the world. I respect this. Eventually, the intercom speakers crackled to life, and the words, "Visitors for PFC Daniel Bone, present yourself at the gangway ASAP," echoed across the room. Before the announcement was even over, Danny rushed out of the quarters, banging his head on the watertight door as he went. I myself didn't have any family to invite over, so off days could be a little more than a little awkward when I wasn't given the option to go ashore. Fending off questions about why I never had any visitors was annoying, for one thing. And when I saw my comrades proudly giving tours of the ship to their visiting families, I'd grow irritated for reasons I couldn't even understand. Yuuji, we know, it's fine. At times like these, I'd always head somewhere I could be alone. There were countless places to hide on a ship as large as this one. Unfortunately, most of them tended to be on the gloomy side. That was a problem, since I always took a paperback book with me. My master had instructed me to read books in well-lit areas, as a sniper's eyes are their life, so I'd usually head for the smoking area out on the foredeck. Pausing near the top of the ramp leading out onto the deck, I reached into my pockets in the search of my sunglasses and found myself face to face with Millie. Oh, Jesus. Oh, God. It burns! The light! Hey, Millie.
ジーニー、タバコ？
No, I don't. You know I don't smoke, don't you?
そうだったね。
What's the matter with you? What's wrong? You seem kind of down. Dude, even I knew. I was like, what? This isn't like her normally at this point.
別になんでもないよ。
Do you want a hug? I'm not good at affection. Well, I mean, I guess I am in some aspects, but well, okay then. Slipping my Mowgli sunglasses onto my head, I started to walk off onto the foredeck.
ちょっと、あ、そうって。女がね、なんか真剣な顔してね。
Well, how the hell am I supposed to know?
どっからどう見てもなんかありそうな顔してるのに、無理してなんでもないって言ってるのに、あ、そうってひどいよジーニー。
Classic Yuuji, though. Let's be real. Sorry, what? If there's something you want to say, just say it.
あのさ、ジーニーは家族とかっている？
Let's not get. I don't want to. They're all dead. Jesus.
あ、そうなんだ。じゃあ、私と同じだね。
Ah, now I get it. She was probably here for the same reason I was. You know what? We have that in common, I suppose. I didn't exactly envy my comrades, but their questions about my family always seemed vaguely condescending. Even though I knew they didn't mean anything by it, I'd just still get irritated despite myself. Since I didn't want to admit that I was childish enough to get pissed off over nothing, I ran and hid instead.
そういうことかって？
Like I said, it's the same for me. I know how you feel.
別に逃げ回ってるわけじゃないよ。ただ、なんていうか、私。
I understand. You don't have to say it. Finishing that sentence would require admitting to something she didn't really want to acknowledge. The moment it came out into the open, it'd be hard to keep quiet any longer, and that would only make it hurt more. I knew that from personal experience. Rather than allowing this to continue, I opted to change the subject entirely. Why don't you go do some independent training if you're bored? Feels like I haven't seen you shooting much lately.
ライフルはやめちゃった。
What? The fuck? Don't tee me! Why'd you quit?
ジーニーに負けちゃったしね。私より上手な人間がいるなら、その人に任せるのが一番いいかなって思って。狙撃兵は2人いらないじゃん。
That's bullshit! 2 snipers would make it better! I really don't think that's true.
あ、別にジーニーのせいでやめたってわけじゃないよ。むしろ逆っていうか、ずっとジーニーのそばにいられる仕事がしたいなって思ってさ。
Like what, a spotter? I was literally about to say, like, the only thing I could think of is a spotter, but...
それも考えたし、いいなって思ったんだけど、 どうせならジーニーができない仕事がしたいよ。なんつうかこう、俺これ苦手。そうだ、こんな時はミリーを呼ぼうって感じでさ。
Put my hand on her shoulder. I'm like, Millie, I could literally do anything, so just give her it.
ジーニーは何か苦手なことってある？
Killing. Wee woo. Well, sure. I'm terrible at singing, for one thing.
私に歌手になれと？いや、なんか他には？
Oh my god, I just pictured her in an idol outfit. Oh, Jesus. Have had a hard time eating meat, I guess.
いや、そういうんじゃなくてさ、他には？
Literally like grasping at straws. I can't kill people. I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming.
それだ。じゃあ私が代わりに殺してあげる。ジーニーの代わりに全部殺してあげる。いっぱい殺してあげる。どう？
Jesus Christ, woman, calm down. No, it's a problem I have to overcome. I need to be able to do it myself. You could go to the bathroom in my place, but my bladder's not going to get any emptier, right?
そっか。
That's such a good metaphor. How about becoming a pilot or something? They get paid well, and I hear their food's pretty damn good, too.
私みたいなバカには無理じゃない？
You can do anything you set your mind to. Well, I'm sure it isn't possible for someone who hides behind the word idiot like it's a shield. A long time ago, I used to believe I was a worthless coward who'd never be better than my sister at anything I did. But that really wasn't anything other than an excuse. It's like my master always said, don't decide you can't do something until you've tried. Don't think up excuses before you try. People have their weak points, but if you go all out, nothing's downright impossible.
すげえ師匠だね。ちょっと羨ましい。
She's something. Try not to set your expectations too high. If you actually meet the woman, whew, it's gonna be one hell of a letdown.
女の人なんだ。
God damn it. Yeah, and a lazy, arrogant bum to boot. She's so full of herself, it's ridiculous. When I asked if she could really do anything at all, she answered, who the hell you think I am? When you're face to face with a challenge, there's only two things you could do. Give up and run, or work your ass off to overcome it. Giving up is easy, but it's also pathetic, or so my master says. Struggling your way forward isn't going to be pretty. Well, rather, always going to be pretty. But there's nothing shameful about it. She's the one who taught me that. So, I mean, even if she is an arrogant jerk, she's important to me. Can't really express this very well, but I think she's amazing.
そっか。
And it's gonna hit way harder when the sadness kicks in.
じゃあさ、もし私がパイロットになったら、ジーニー、私のこともすげえって思う？
I think it's pretty cool. Yeah, pretty sure I would.
マジで？じゃあ、ちょっと私も本気ってやつを出してみよっかな。
She totally becomes a pilot later, doesn't she? Trying embarrassingly hard might be a nice change of pace once in a while, right? There you go. I wasn't playing fair. On some level, I understood that. I'd pushed this girl away, but she still hadn't given up. So now, I was talking to her about another woman. Trying to convince someone to give up on their own like this is just the coward's way out. It's the method you use when you're afraid to hurt someone, and afraid of being hurt in return. And of course, if it actually works, you probably end up feeling a little sad, like the self-centered idiot you are. Oh. Man, it got real at the end. Dude, I've always loved the Yuuji advice that he gives out, because Yuuji advice is Asako advice. I've always liked that. He really holds those teachings and always has to his heart, and I've always thought it was cool. You know,